When we first see Din Djarin in The Mandalorian Season 1, he's a mystery. The only thing we know about him is that he was a bounty hunter. That is, until the season progresses. We then see him rescued as a child and taken in as a Mandalorian. There are signs in his rescue, though, that former members of Death Watch were responsible for saving him, or at least signs that he was rescued by a member of Clan Vizsla. As Din is scooped up by a Mandalorian in blue armor, the warrior's shoulder bears the markings of Clan Vizsla, a marking that was also known to be worn by members of Death Watch. But at the time of Mando's rescue, Death Watch would have been very much active in Mandalorian culture. But there is new evidence to suggest that Clan Vizsla and possibly Death Watch is anything but dead some 30 years later. Today on Star Wars Fanatic. Before I move forward, if you're new here or haven't done so yet, go on and hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications to stay up to date on all my Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and general Star Wars content. Also, give the thumbs up a big high five to show your love for the hard work I put into each video. Now, on with today's topic. Throughout Season 1 of The Mandalorian, Din Djarin is adamant about not removing his helmet in the presence of anyone. It is a part of his culture to not remove the helmet, or he can't put it back on. In fact, he is challenged on this by one of his own, the heavy machine gunner named Paz Vizsla, spelled V-I-Z-L-A, and not to be confused by Clan Vizsla, spelled V-I-Z-S-L-A, accuses our hero of being a traitor. But when their organization leader asks Din Djarin if he ever removed his helmet, he said no. The argument is then settled. With the hint of Clan Vizsla rescuing Din Djarin as a child, there is now more. There is new evidence that Death Watch, or at least Clan Vizsla, is still thriving. By the second season of The Mandalorian, Din meets Bo-Katan Kryze. Bo-Katan removes her helmet in his presence, and he accuses her of not being a Mandalorian. She then tells him that her armor has been passed down for generations. She then tells our Mando that he belongs to a cult of religious zealots called the Children of the Watch. That sounds similar to Death Watch already, but it isn't enough to draw the distinction to 100% closure. Yes, I know this isn't new information, but I promise I will get to that soon, and it will lead to my next theory on the future of The Mandalorian. Let me backtrack for a moment. I realize there are fans of The Mandalorian that don't understand what the heck I'm talking about. Who is Death Watch? Why does Bo-Katan or the Armorer get to say who is a Mandalorian or who can or can't remove their helmet? Okay, the story of Death Watch goes back a couple of generations prior to the Mandalorian series. Death Watch was headed by a man named Tor Vizsla and was responsible for the Mandalorian civil wars that we heard about from Boba Fett. This is a civil war that Boba Fett's father fought in. He also fought against Death Watch for a new and improved Mandalore. After Tor Vizsla was killed, Jango Fett was taken prisoner by the Jedi and made a slave for a couple years. When he escaped, Death Watch was very much alive, but less active. Led by Pre Vizsla during the Clone Wars, Death Watch eventually sided with Maul, the former Sith apprentice to Darth Sidious, or Chancellor Palpatine at the time. Death Watch was rebranded under Maul's criminal organization called the Shadow Collective, and eventually took over Mandalore. When Maul became leader of Death Watch by killing Pre Vizsla, Bo-Katan Kryze and a number of other Death Watch Mandalorians split from the group and formed the Night Owls. These are the Mandalorians we see Bo-Katan traveling with in the Mandalorian series. Okay, so to simplify, Death Watch bad, Night Owls become neutral. Anyone we know named Vizsla sided with Maul, among other Death Watch houses. In Star Wars Rebels, we are led to believe there was no more Death Watch. Sabine Wren's mother was an active member in the organization but left for one reason or another. Okay, that's the Death Watch backstory. So, if you are wondering why the emblem on Din Djarin's savior was a big deal, that's why. Now, to the present. About 29 years after the Clone Wars ended, or 5 years after Return of the Jedi, if you look at Bo-Katan's face when she realizes what group Din Djarin is from, she's frustrated or annoyed. That's because she was once a member of this group, before it had been rebranded at least 2 times, once to the Shadow Collective, then again to the Children of the Watch. I know there wasn't much proof that the Children of the Watch was Death Watch during either Season 1 or Season 2. In fact, the only member we see that may have been part of the organization is the one who rescued Din. Maybe he was a rogue that changed sides. Maybe he was reformed. Not likely. And here's why. There's another Vizsla within the Children of the Watch, and possibly another former member of Death Watch alongside him. And that member is the once misspelled Paz Vizsla, V-I-Z-S-L-A. But phonetic, it has already been said that his name is V-I-Z-L-A, not V-I-Z-S-L-A. Yes, but now it has been corrected in this new Black Series 6-inch figure of the Heavy Gunner. Look at the spelling on the packaging now. It all makes sense why the Children of the Watch are seen as zealots and Death Watch were also extremists. I know I said there is possibly another member of Death Watch in Din's group. That member is the Armorer. See, when Darth Maul took over Death Watch, most of the members painted their armor red and black, and some even added horns to their helmet to show their allegiance to Maul. The Armorer has these horns. It's no new theory that the Armorer is none other than Death Watch Lieutenant Rook Kast, former colleague and friend of Bo-Katan Kryze. I even made a video of the theory quite some time ago, with the new information of Paz Vizsla's name spelling changed, or rather corrected. It makes more sense that these Children of the Watch are foundlings and offspring of some of the original members of Death Watch. So now, I will go on my theory for the future of the Mandalorian. Din Djarin has now experienced other Mandalorians. He has seen that it is more than the helmet not being removed that makes one a Mandalorian. In fact, he sees more importance in the armor as far as family tradition. He has changed and probably can't return to his original clan. I feel like Bo-Katan and the Armorer are going to meet, and when they do, it will be explosive. They will have unresolved issues, and Bo-Katan will be seen as a traitor and a negative influence. But whose side will we be on? Which perspective will it show us? Din Djarin is developing into a more well-rounded Mandalorian because of his interactions with Bo-Katan and Boba Fett. But we do see Bo-Katan as power-hungry in her conquest of the Darksaber. Not to mention, Rook Kast will have a grudge against Bo-Katan for turning her back on her people, and Bo-Katan will see Rook as a traitor for following Maul, a non-Mandalorian. Whatever happens, it will be interesting. I don't think the spelling correction of Paz Vizsla, V-I-Z-S-L-A, was an accident. Maybe the leaked packaging was, but it's out. Even though actors and production crews sign a non-disclosure agreement with Lucasfilm, the company is good about dropping little hints. But what do you think? Will Children of the Watch have a similar agenda to Death Watch, or is it just a coincidence? Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.